Hey guys, Mike Postas here with Mountain Properties of the Carolinas. Again, here to help you navigate this journey of finding a profitable short-term rental in the North Carolina mountains. Today we have a special guest. It's Mike Colombo with Allen Tate Insurance. Mike has been doing insurance for about 6 years, and we're here to kind of pick his brain a little bit on short-term rentals and the things that you need from an insurance standpoint once you purchase that home. So Mike, if you want to start by giving us a little bit of information about yourself.
Sure. I'm with Allen Tate Insurance. We are an independent agency, and what that means is that we are basically a broker, and we've got access to over 26 different carriers. So that allows us to shop your rate and ensure that you get the best coverage at the best price. In contrast to that would be somebody who was captive, would be somebody like a State Farm, where they can only offer you one product at one price, and that's all you have to choose from. So we have the advantage that we get to shop and make sure they get the best coverage at the best price.
Excellent. Well, good. Well, I guess at this point you've pretty much decided on a home. There's some steps after that point, or even before that point of closing, where you want to make sure we talk to someone like Mike to make sure you completely understand the coverages you're going to need with a short-term rental. So Mike, as it relates to a short-term rental, we'll call it an Airbnb.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about the products that are available in the industry for these folks and how it's a little bit different from a primary home insurance policy.
Okay, great. So different than primary. On a primary home, you would need your homeowner's insurance, but on a investment property, there are a couple different options you can have. One would be a homeowner's policy as a secondary home, and we could put a renter's endorsement on that policy, which would cover your short-term rentals, or we could do a straight-out landlord policy. Variables that would impact which way you go would be number of nights rented and length of time on the rental. If it's a long-term 6 month or greater, we would probably go the landlord policy route versus short-term rental. If it's Airbnb, where they're 2-3 days at a time, we would do the short-term rental endorsement.
Wonderful. So how, from a price standpoint, is it more than having a primary home?
It's going to depend on the property. Landlord policy will typically run a little bit more expensive, maybe 10-20% than the endorsement on a homeowner's policy. It's all based on risk. The risk would be that you're having strangers in your home. So the more that you have turnover in renters, the higher the liability is going to be. So the landlord policy really is designed more for a long-term renter, and the short-term endorsement would cover the short-term. They offer it in different buckets, 30 days or less, 30 to 90 days, 90 to 181, or 181 or greater. So obviously the greater the nights per year, the higher the rate would be.
Okay. And just an estimate, Mike, is we talking double the amount or maybe?
No. You're talking maybe a 10 or 15% adder, and maybe 20%, 30%, depending on the number of nights per year it's rented.
Okay.
So we're not talking double.
Okay, wonderful. So some of these folks may already have a umbrella policy or something like that. How does that factor into it once we get to a point where there's a claim? Unfortunately, run into something. What would those folks expect?
So you would go to your policy first, your main policy, whether it's a renter policy or the endorsement, and it would cover your liability up to your policy limit. If the liability exceeds your policy limit, that is when your umbrella would kick in. So for those of you who are buying an investment property and you have an umbrella, you want to go to your current insurance company that has your umbrella and make sure that you are including your rental property under that umbrella so that it is covered. Okay. Should the amount of liability exceed what their policy has.
Perfect. So, again, let's talk a little bit about the claim and some event occurred. And these folks are going to be, for the most part, are going to be renting their property. Could be having future cash flows from renters that they're going to maybe lose if there's an event of a catastrophe, a fire, or just something that's going to take time to cure. Does that policy cover any future type of rental income?
It does. The policies will include loss of rental. So they would take an estimate of what your rental nights are and what you get per night. And if the claim is going to take X amount of days to repair, they would calculate what that loss of rental would be. And there are limits on the policy. You would set the limits. So depending on what limit you set, you can file that claim up for that amount.
That's fantastic. And that's
Yeah,
really
that's-
good
yeah.
news. That,
I hate to have an
you
investment
don't have
property
to-
that's not bringing any income in because of a claim.
Exactly. That's the reason they buy it.
That's right.
For the most part. I understand also that Airbnb has on their own coverages, or maybe VRBO or other platforms. I think I saw Airbnb has $3 million for things like home fires or damage or things like that. So that being the case, what would a owner do if there was something big? How would they move forward? Would they start with you, or would they start with the?
I would highly recommend that they go and start with the policy that Airbnb or VRBO is offering. This way, that if the claim falls under their policy, there's no impact to your policy. I would check with Airbnb and VRBO to see what are any exclusions that are in that policy, so that if there is a claim and they say that they're not going to cover it, now it's your turn to go to your policy and file the claim. So you just definitely want to try to use their policy first, so that you don't have to claim your policy and impact future rates with claims on your property.
Good to know. Okay, so someone acts it as an umbrella in itself, umbrella policy.
Pretty much, yeah.
So strong, thing to understand and know before you decide if you're going to use Airbnb or another platform. You want to make sure that you fully understand that, and we'll help you with that as well. Well, hey, Mike. It sounds like this is all pretty straightforward. Nothing to be.
It can be
concerned
confusing.
about.
It can be confusing, and use me as a resource. You have my contact information, and I'd be more than willing to talk to any of your customers or future customers if they have questions about the insurance portion of it.
Yeah, so if it does go to another, you broker it out to somebody, you'd still be their agent. even if there was a
Absolutely.
question
Yeah,
about
just
it.
I have 26 different carriers, but if there's ever an issue, I am considered your agent. You would contact me, and I could help you navigate through the claim.
Wonderful. Well, hey, Mike, I really appreciate
I appreciate you having me here.
having it. So again, another thing to check off the box that you understand. Either you come to us with a question, or come to Mike and talk to him. But please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and continue to watch for things that are going to help you navigate this journey. Thanks so much.